You good? And welcome back in, everybody, to the Auburn Undercover YouTube channel. Nathan King here with Jason Caldwell. We're here at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. Just finished up the joint press conference the day before the bowl game. We're now less than 24 hours between for kickoff, Maryland and Auburn at Nissan Stadium. We heard from Hugh Freeze and Mike Locksley. This morning we also heard from both of Auburn's coordinators, which was a nice surprise. We haven't talked to them since before the season, but Jason, as has been the case, leading up to this game, it's the case for most teams across college football. Transfers and opt-outs have a big impact here. We know about Talia Tagovailoa out for Maryland, but there might be a little bit of offsetting things for Auburn because their secondary is going to be a really new look group in this game, mainly because of some developments that we heard about today.
Yeah, we already knew that the DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett weren't going to be here. We also knew that Marcus Harris wasn't going to be playing, and so you knew that they're always going to be without three starters. And then today Hugh Freeze said, look, maybe all freshmen in the secondary. We'll come to find out, maybe no Jalen Simpson nor Zion Puckett either. Those guys have been here all week, but they may have decided, hey, not to play to get ready for all-star games or whatever. So potentially Auburn could be without all four starters in the secondary other than, Keontae Scott and DK, in that kind of nickel role. You're talking about those in addition to Marcus Harris. Even without a starting quarterback, all of Maryland's wide receivers are going to be here. So that's a stiff challenge for a bunch of young guys other than Kayan Lee, Keontae Scott, Donovan Kaufman, and Caleb Wooden. You don't have anybody else that's really played any significant snaps. Yeah,
I asked Maryland offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis about, hey, how do you balance that of having, yes, you have a backup quarterback, but you also have some clear deficits on Auburn's defense. And he said, look, we've had an identity all season. We're not going to change it for one game. To me, that reads as they think they have good receivers and they think they have an experienced backup quarterback. Now, Billy Edwards, only 10 passing attempts on the entire season, but he's a guy who's been in the system and he's now getting reps for them. On the other side of the ball, Auburn thinks it should have a decided advantage at the quarterback position. Peyton Thorne, he did miss some practices back when they were on campus for bowl practices, but he's back healthy with them here in Nashville, and the rest of the team healthy as well. But even with a thinned out rotation there at receiver, Auburn should have a quarterback advantage in the game, and obviously they're going to lead on the ground game.
Correct.
Well.
Yeah, I think the run game is going to be a key for them. But you think about it, even with Peyton Thorne back, Auburn has 6 scholarship wide receivers, so there's some issues. Auburn's all happened at the same spots, wide receiver and in the secondary. So you look at Auburn now and you go, yeah, the run game is going to be really important. But guys like Caleb Burton, we saw Caleb Burton really come on toward the end of the year. Now he's had these extra practices to kind of get ready because he wasn't a guy that was here for spring practice. So Caleb Burton could be a guy that gets a lot more involved in the mix. I think we're going to see a lot of tight ends from Auburn, but the run game, and you don't want to leave yourself a bunch of third and long situations, and so this Maryland defense has been opportunistic at times this year. So yeah, but Auburn from a quarterback perspective is in much better shape than Maryland.
You mentioned it when we were talking to the coordinators today, but that defensive line group is going to be one that needs to step up as well. No Marcus Harris for Auburn, obviously first team All-SEC, makes sense that he went to the draft. We're going to see some guys, I think, in this game that we haven't seen a lot of this. You're going to see Zeke Walker, you're going to see Keldrick Faulk, you're going to see the nose tackles, Justin Rogers, Jason Jones, but a couple guys you mentioned today talking to Ron Roberts. Bobby Travis is a guy they think can be a good player long-term. Darren Reed was a really highly rated recruit when he came in, just didn't get a bunch of playing time. I don't think he actually saw the field on defense this season.
Yeah, no, those are two guys for sure. Bobby Travis, they're kind of waiting to hold a red shirt for him. He's free and clear, so I think we'll see a bunch of him in the bowl game. And DJ Reed's a guy that had some injuries, wasn't a guy that came through spring practice, so they had that double whammy for him, and so it's just been kind of playing catch up. So these 8-10 practice days have been really beneficial for those two guys. And I've talked about it before. This was the time of year when Nick Fairley really took a huge step forward. Now, he played a lot more than Bobby Travis did this year, but it was that bowl practice, that extra little work that you got that you don't get during the season that really propelled him into the next season. I think they're hoping the same things from a guy like Bobby Travis.
We've mentioned him a lot already so far, but I guess what are your kind of keys to this game for Auburn? Because it seems like they may have an opportunity here. SEC's number 3 rushing offense. That's a healthy backfield. We saw what a healthy Damari Alston looked like against Alabama. That should be a key in this game. I guess what do you think Auburn has to do tomorrow afternoon at Nissan Stadium to be able to win a game where, look, these are both teams that, like Hugh Freeze said today, it is not the same team that played at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think that same offensive line group is there, and that same running back group is there, and Peyton Thorne, and that's what, to me, that's where you lean if you're Auburn. You lean on the run game. try to take some of the pressure off that wide receiver group, try to limit the game because of your defensive and your young guys on the other side of the ball. So to me, everything points back to Auburn's ability to run the football. And they should be healthy, should be full of strength. And that's an offensive line group that finally had some rest and able to get a little stronger here, late in the season in bowl practice as well. To me, everything points towards Auburn run game, and that's going to be the key for me.
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned the guys Auburn has had out. Maryland's leading tackler at linebacker decided to transfer. Had a starting cornerback opt out, had a starting offensive lineman opt out in addition to Talia Tungavailoa. And then Free said today, he said, look, we had some illnesses in bowl practices, but everybody seems to be trending in the right direction. He said only one guy right now is still kind of in that state where they're kind of watching him. They said the fever hasn't necessarily broken yet, but should be interesting. Should be interesting to see who plays tomorrow. We're going to get a look pretty much up and down the depth chart at a lot of different positions. 1 p.m. at Nissan Stadium. For Jason Caldwell, I'm Nathan King. Head over to auburnundercover.com. We'll see y'all there.